and good evening. Before we start, I would like to explain to you the process that will be following tonight. Tonight's session is an arraignment session. You're going to be asked a very simple question, and that is, what plea would you like to enter? Now, we have three alternatives, and the first one is to enter a plea of not guilty, which means you believe you're innocent, or you believe that the city cannot prove its case against you. Now, the burden of proof is on the city to prove that you are guilty. You do not have to prove that you're innocent. The second alternative is the opposite, and that's to enter a plea of guilty, which means you are accepting the facts and circumstances that are stated in the citation that you have already received. The third alternative is called a plea of no contest, which means, though in your heart you think you're innocent, you're also 100% sure that should your case goes to trial, you will end up being found guilty. In essence, you believe that there are lots of evidence against you. Now, if you enter a plea of no contest, you will be found guilty. There is one advantage to a plea of no contest, in addition to the fact that you don't want to admit your guilt, is that in cases involving potential liability claims, such as being involved in a car accident, the fact that you entered a plea of no contest may not be used against you. However, if you enter a plea of guilty in this type of cases, in the trial for liability, it may be used against you. So if you have been involved in a car accident or worried that somebody is going to sue you for damages and contemplating entering a plea of guilty, my advice to you is to enter a plea of no contest instead. Now, most of you are here for alleged traffic citations. You should know that if I find you guilty for a traffic citation, in addition to the fine that I'm going to ask you to pay, I will take from you something called demerit points. Now, in the state of Wisconsin, if you accumulate 12 demerit points in one single year, your driving privilege will be revoked. If you are here for the offense of operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant, also known drunk driving, you should know that you have the right to request a jury trial. If you do so, the trial will be held at Dane County Circuit Court. It will not be held in Fitchburg. Now, briefly, I'm going to talk to you about our philosophy in Fitchburg. It's my philosophy to see that justice is individualized. What I mean by that I'm going to listen carefully to whatever mitigating circumstances that you may wish to share with me. You really don't have to tell me anything. But if you want to talk to me, I would allow you to. If you want to tell me mitigating circumstances, I will listen to it, provided that the circumstances are believable and truthful. I'm going to also look at your past record. Right in front of me, a record of just about everything you may have committed in the past. Based on those two variables, I will come with a verdict. It may then mean that two people faced with identical citation may have different outcome. And that's the case in all traffic citations, with the exception of traffic citations where alcohol or drugs were a factor in the issuance of the citations. In these cases, I really do not have any willingness to compromise the verdict. You will pay the maximum penalty as stated in the statute. The same thing could be said about city ordinances where there is a criminal code counterpart to the ordinance. Let me explain that to you. Fitchburg have opted to adopt city ordinances that are parallel to the criminal code. So in Fitchburg, you have an ordinance for shoplifting, theft, disorderly conduct, prostitution, carrying concealed weapon, and even arson. Now, when a police officer writes a complaint against a citizen, alleging that that citizen have potentially violated a criminal code, and that citizen is being prosecuted in municipal court, that citizen will not have a criminal record because no matter what, the outcome is not a criminal conviction in municipal court. So in essence, if a police officer accuses you of theft, you got a major break by coming to municipal court rather than in criminal court. I say that because I want you to believe that there is not going to be any break that you may get by coming to this court for a violation of municipal ordinance that's parallel to the criminal code. So what happened if I find you guilty? If I find you guilty, I expect that you pay your fine tonight. But if you can't, you have to tell me why, and I didn't give you an option to pay it in installment. The maximum amount of time that I can give you to pay a fine at any given setting is only 60 days. But I understand that you may not be able to pay your fine in 60 days. If you are showing diligence in paying portion of your fine, I'm going to give you the name and phone number of the clerk of court. He's the gentleman who sits to my right. You may call him and ask for reappearance. And if you are showing diligence, as they're saying, and paying your fine, I'll give you another 60 days until your fine is paid in full. But ultimately, you have to pay your fine. Because if you don't, the city, which I can assure you, Fitchburg, collect every penny that I levied on any citizen for violation of its laws. Now, they collect it in many ways, but including even going after your tax return. But if they fail, I will issue a warrant for your arrest, and I may put you in jail for up to 90 days. For every day you spend in jail, I will take from you your fine, that is $50. So theoretically, if it's $100, that's 2 days in jail. However, even though I put you in jail, the city will sue you for the cost of maintenance in jail. According to the clerk of court, it is $85 or $95, $85. You do the math. I'll take $50, they sue you for $85. In Fitchburg, you would never pay off your fine by spending time in jail. In this court, I can assure all of you that your rights, be it statutory or constitutional, will be guaranteed. I can also assure you that you'll be treated with the utmost respect. What I ask for is that you abide by our rules of decorum. Should you wish to address the court or ask me any question, please feel free to do that. I'll do my best in answering your question. And with this in mind, we'll call the first case.
Daniel Sobek.
Good evening, sir. So you have a citation for underage alcohol consumption, carries a fine of $187 plus 3-month suspension of your driving privilege. If you don't have a driver's license, the effective date of the suspension will be the day you get your driver's license. For this citation, how do you plead?
No contest.
Okay. Anything you wish to share with me, sir?
Nope.
Do you have a driver's license?
Nope.
All right. Do you wish to put 40 hours of community service in lieu of the suspension of your driving privilege?
Sure.
All right. $187 is your fine. Can you pay it tonight, or you need time to pay it?
Need time.
All right. We'll give you time to do that. And you have to put 40 hours of community service within the next 6 months. And then I will not suspend your driver's license when you get it. Okay? Just a minute, sir. Give him time to pay it and install.
Marjorie DeLisi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You have a citation for failure to yield while making a left turn. For this citation, how do you plead?
No content.
And what did you do?
Excuse me?
What did you do?
I was turning off of McKee onto Longford, and I didn't see a guy coming, and I started going, and he hit me.
He hit you. Well, according to him, you hit him, but that's... All right. And instead of $98, you'll pay $79. And instead of 4 points, you'll pay only 3. You'll have only 3 points deducted. You need time to pay your fine?
Yes, I do.
He'll give you 60 days, I think.
Taylor Powell.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So you have a citation for operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant and operating a motor vehicle with a prohibited blood alcohol concentration. Allegedly, you tested 0.19. Before you enter a plea, I would like to explain to you the ramification of entering a plea of guilty. State of Wisconsin is the only state in the union where a conviction for operating while under the influence, first offense, is civil conviction. However, should you commit the same offense again within the next 10 years, the second conviction is considered to be a criminal conviction with mandatory jail time. Should you be convicted for second conviction and repeat the same offense again in your lifetime, every time you commit the same offense again, you will have a criminal conviction with accelerated mandatory jail time, prison time, and higher fine. Now that you know the ramification of entering a plea of guilty, for the citation of operating a motor vehicle while under the influence and operating a motor vehicle with a prohibited blood alcohol concentration, allegedly 0.19, how do you plead?
Guilty. Guilty?
Guilty.
I'm sorry.
Sir, at the time the police officer made the stop, were there anybody in the car who was under the age of 18?
No, there was no one else in the car.
All right. At the time the police officer made the stop, prior to that, did you hit anybody,
No,
crash or anything? No?
no.
Now, sir, anything you want to tell me,
Like mitigating circumstances?
anything you wish to tell me?
Yeah, it was definitely very stupid, and I understand that my license will be suspended. I just hope that, I don't know exactly how long it'll be, but I would hope to be able to get the occupational, and I do have a pregnant girlfriend that I need to get to and from doctor's appointments, who is not happy with me at all, so very much deservedly so.
And you can understand.
Yeah.
All right. As you came in court, they gave you a chart, and in the chart it shows the penalty and aggravating circumstances and the blood alcohol concentration. If you look in the chart, it falls squarely in the third category. So your penalty is $911. Your driving privilege is revoked for 8 months. You must complete mandatory assessment at Dane County Mental Health Institute. You would lose 6 demerit points. You own a car, sir?
Yeah,
Okay. You must install in that car an IID device for a period of 1 year.
and that's
Okay?
the one that it shows on the chart, that you can go to any of these, the vendors?
Yes.
The approved ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, sir, you told me that you are interested in getting an occupational driver's license. I'm going to let you drive today and tomorrow. So the suspension will be as of Monday. Okay, don't do anything silly okay. But they will give you an occupational driver's license to allow you to go to school, work, church, take your girlfriend to the doctor, and but in special routes and special time. Do you have any question for me, sir?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. If you need time, the officer will arrange for you to have time. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Eugene Kirkey.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So you have a citation for failure to yield right-of-way. For this citation, how do you plead?
I got hearing loss, so I couldn't hear all what you were saying.
You want to come
But
close to me?
I think I'm guilty, so.
Why don't you come close to me? You are safe enough. Come here. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
All right, good. I was saying that you have a charge against you for failure to yield right-of-way. Oh, you didn't hear that?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay, can you read this?
I'm guilty of what happened here.
Okay, you are? Okay. Now, can you hear me? If I ask you to tell me anything you wanted to share with me?
Other than I've been driving for 60 years and I've never had an accident.
You look so young to drive for 60 years.
Well, I was driving on the farm.
Or the farm.
Then I-
You were driving illegally for
No,
60.
I went on the road then.
Okay,
And when I got my license, I never had an accident until 66.
okay.
But it was 5 something in the evening. It was getting dark like now. And I didn't see this car. I pulled out a stop sign. He was in my blind spot because another car was turning.
Okay.
So when I left the stop sign, I didn't know that car was kitty corner behind him.
Okay.
So it's my fault. Like, I've
Okay.
always been a defensive driver all these
All right.
years, and it's just.
And you really have good record. So, instead of $111, you're gonna pay only $79.
Oh, yeah,
And instead of 4 points, I hope you don't mind that. Instead of 4 points, it's 3 points.
okay,
All right?
Thank
Good luck, sir.
yeah, thank you.
Amen.
This right here. Take it outside there, please. Charles Nicolai.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, you have a citation for operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of an intoxicant and operating a motor vehicle with a prohibited blood alcohol concentration. Allegedly, you tested 0.25. For this citation, how do you plead?
No contest.
Okay. Sir, at the time the police officer made the stop, was there anybody in the car who is under the age of 18?
No, sir.
All right. Did you cause an accident or ended up in a ditch or hit any property?
No, I did rear end the vehicle in front of me, but that was minor damage and insurance companies dealt with that.
So you caused an accident, though. All right. Now, sir, do you remember when you came in court, they gave you a chart?
Yes, sir, right here.
Okay, I want you to look in the chart and look at 20 and above, because you tested 0.25
Right.
with an accident. So here's my verdict. You're gonna have to pay $974. Your driving privilege is revoked for 9 months. You must complete mandatory assessment at Dane County Mental Health Institute. You would lose 6 demerit points. Now, sir, do you own a car?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That car that you own and drive must have an IID device in it. So you test you every time you
Right.
can drive again. Okay? Now, do you have an occupational driver's license?
No, not at the moment, no.
Do you intend to apply?
I'm thinking probably not.
It's up to you, sir.
But I could change my mind, though, later on.
If you change your mind, you have to come in court.
Okay, I'm thinking probably not, though.
All right. Okay. Now the next question is? Now, I was reminded by the clerk of court. Remember when I said you have to have an IID device for 1 year?
Sure.
That 1 year will not start until you apply.
Okay, so that's mandatory whether I take an
Right.
occupational or not. I mean, once I get my license, once the revocation is up, I still have to have that in the vehicle for 1 year.
Right.
Okay,
All
okay.
right. Do you need time to pay?
Yes, good.
So the officer will arrange for you to have time.
Okay.
Thank you. Joseph Newhouse.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, you have a citation for zone speeding, and allegedly you were going at a speed of 35 miles per hour in a 25-mile speeding zone. For this citation, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Okay. Anything you wish to share with me?
Yes. So at the time when I've got this speeding ticket, my wife, she was having problems with asthma, which she was in the car at the time. We were just about a block or so away from home. So at that time, I was just trying to get to our apartment so my wife could have her asthma inhaler to use.
I understand.
And other than this ticket, within the last, I haven't had a ticket in the last almost 4 years or so for any speeding tickets, and I was just wanting to request that this ticket be waived.
I can't do that. I can lower the ticket. Once the officer issued the citation, I can't waive it.
Can the price be lowered of the ticket, or?
The price is going to be lower because you have a good record.
I'm sorry?
I'm low. It's not the price. I'm lowering the fine
Okay, I see.
from 98 to 78.
Okay. Is there anything that can be done about the 3 points that were lost?
If you are careful and don't commit another offense in 1 year, it will be erased.
In a year? Oh,
A year
okay.
from the date, not the conviction date of the violation. So,
Okay.
all right?
Okay. Thank you.
Mackenzie Kruger.
And good evening.
Hey,
Hi. You have a citation for failure to stop at a stop sign. For this citation, how do you plead?
no contest.
Okay. What can you tell the court?
So I had stopped at the stop sign and I pulled out further to see around parked cars and students waiting for the bus. And me and another car hit our front ends.
And you have insurance in it.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you have a relatively good record, actually. $78 instead of $98. So
Thank
fine, the point stands.
Thank you.
Addison Zeineman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You have a citation for violating a red traffic control signal. For this citation, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And what can you tell the court?
I was going down Fish Hatchery Road and I got to a stoplight and didn't stop, and a car was going down Basie Road, and that's when we got in an accident.
$78 instead of 98. The point stands.
Thank you, sir.
Christine Appleby.
Oh, this, how many of these now?
They're issued by the building.
Okay.
Building for, as you can see, having a garage sale they've set up in the driveway.
Right. Good evening.
It was on 12/2.
Right. You have 5 citations, and those citations, you entered the plea of not guilty, and you were supposed to appear before the city attorney, and you did not. Now, the city attorney is not willing to waive her right, and subsequently, you are guilty of all of the citations. And you are requesting that to reopen it. I can't reopen it. So the only issue is that the city attorney is willing to allow me to do is to listen to you and maybe lowering the citations, but don't dismiss it.
I didn't receive that there was notification that I wasn't able to have a garage sale. And then when I got the tickets, hadn't had a garage sale for quite some time. I'd gotten ill. I was sick for, gosh,
Who are you?
no, for,
Yeah,
oh,
hi, I'm Libby Armstrong. I work for the psychology clinic. I'm an advocate for Chris.
You're just an advocate.
Yeah.
You're not an attorney.
No,
All right.
but I was sick. I had pneumonia, then I ended up with bronchitis, and which was triggering severe asthma attacks back then. And I wasn't able to do anything with the stuff that was in the front. And then when I,
Now, let's talk about the incident itself. Now I know why you didn't show up to meet with the city prosecutor. What happened here? Why are you getting 5 tickets?
I don't know, they all came in the mail the same day.
They're not the same day. No, they are not.
They came in an envelope all by themselves.
All right, I understand. Have you ever seen the pictures?
Do
you wanna see?
I know what it looked like, so.
You know what these look like. Okay. Have you ever been?
Do you want to see the pictures now of the front of the house?
It would be great. Yes. Okay. I'm not good at this, but so it looks like there is no. Are you? Can you?
Let me see. I have to check. No, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Just the other side.
So you're saying you clean?
It's, yeah, it's all
Everything is clean.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had similar citation before?
For continuous garage sales, no. Not for continuous garage.
Let's say for building regulations.
I did once, yes.
Okay.
I was getting rid of some stuff and it was out too long.
All right. So there are 5 citations. Each one of them is 124. I am sorry about that too. There are 5 tickets here. I'm going to stay 2 of them and finding guilty of 3. But the stay is for 6 months. So in 6 months, if you commit the same offense again, you will pay for the older ticket plus the new ticket that I'm staying. So I'm convicting you of the 5, but you will pay 3 tickets. 2 tickets are stayed for 6 months. If you commit the same offense again, you will pay those 2 tickets within the 6 months. You want the officer to explain it to you, or your advocate need any question to be answered, or you have any question for me?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. And the next issue is, can you pay your tickets today?
One of them.
Okay. So if I give you, can you pay them in an installment within 60 days, or you need longer period of time than that?
I think I can pay him in 6.
All right, she said she can pay 1 today, the other 2, we give her 60 days to pay. And you wrote exactly, you gonna send her a letter or something?
What's that?
Are you gonna send her a notice about?
I can, yeah, for this. She'll get a copy of that too.
Okay. He'll give you he'll memorialize this decision so that you would have a copy of it.
All right, thanks.
Although the recording here is my official copy. Good luck.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Go over here.
I have to get my stuff, though.
Connor Arneson.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, you have a citation for failure to yield while making a left turn.
Yes.
For this citation, how do you plead?
No contest.
No contest, okay. Now, tell me what happened, Connor.
I was taking a left turn at a blinking left yellow arrow, and halfway through the turn, I got hit by the on the side of my car by another car.
And despite you being hit, the officer wrote you a citation as if you are the one who is violative of
Yeah.
traffic law. Okay. And you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand you have a probationary driver's license.
Yes.
And you understand what happened to probationary driver's license
Yes.
if you commit the same offense again or similar offense again. Now, because this is your first citation, I'm going to give you a deal here. In lieu of the 4 points, you're going to put 40 hours of community service and no points, but you pay the fine.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Within 6 months.
40 hours, pay the fine as is.
The fine is no points and 40 hours of community service.
Devin Walker.
So let's see. Okay.
If anything can be done here,
Okay.
or what can be done to help them.
Yeah. Now, there is a conviction for possession of marijuana under the old city ordinance, which was very hefty at that time. And now you are apparently did not pay your tickets as you agreed with me. And first, I can't reopen it. It's 7 years old. And secondly, tell me something about you and why is this a hardship? And come close.
Thanks for giving me the chance to speak on the matter.
Okay.
Went at the time that we first talked about this. I know that I was going through a lot of health concerns, especially mental health problems at the time. Not that that's an excuse. We know that this is something recognized as medicine, used for personal use, of course. But a long time ago, something I'm long over now. I was convicted of a different crime, which I sat a pretty hefty sentence for. But there was also, I believe, at least 130 days of concurrent time that didn't count toward anything at that time. From what I know, from what I was told, my previous cases had got lumped into, and that's why I was unable to pay, is because I was locked up for 13 days and 6 months, fighting a case that I wasn't.
So right now, how much is in collection? Did he pay anything out of it? Do you recall if he paid anything? It was $1,300 at that time.
My health declined to the point where I was locked up in jail. I wasn't able to make any payments because I wasn't able to.
No payment. When did you? Are you having any? Are you still using marijuana, or are you?
No, I can show that I'm not.
I am gonna take whatever you say. Are you working now?
I'm working because of the stigma of the felony crime that I was told was supposed to conglomerate this, at least from my understanding, conglomerate this kind of case. There's quite a bit of stigma, so there's not a whole lot of money to be made.
Are you employed?
I am employed.
Okay.
Full-time.
Full-time.
Yeah.
And are you under supervision?
I completed supervision this summer.
So
5 years.
So the only issue is, what should I do with 1,311? Do you live in Dane County, and where do you live?
I live in Dane County.
Indian County.
I wanted to see if there was any reason there that I could probably find a way to work that off, if that was a possibility. I know it's an old case and everything.
Well, I really don't have a work program here. I'm very interested, however, in seeing that you don't recommit the same offense again. And you said you are not on supervision. And you are employed at this moment, and you make money. So how much are you paid every 2 weeks?
Sorry?
Are you paid every 2 weeks or every month? How are you paid?
I'm paid every 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reduce this a lot. And I'm going to ask you to pay $25 every 2 weeks if you can, for 6 months. After 6 months, if I don't see any criminal offense committed, we'll call it even, as if it was only like, that would be about $300, which is the law at this moment for people under the age of 21.
That would be for both the citations.
I have one. Is it one citation or 2 citations?
I only have one here that they gave me.
I have only
There was one for,
Another one that's been paid.
which could be two from taxes or something.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, there was a.
It's only
possession.
one citation for
It's only-
$1,300.
Extra collection.
Yeah, the other one was just the paraphernalia.
Well, still,
Yeah.
$1,300, I'm counting it as if you were under the age of 21 when you committed this offense, which you were.
Which I was.
Yeah. And that would be the price of the ticket today. We lowered them all. So the only issue is that in 6 months, the clerk of court is going to come back and show me whether you are violative of any of the criminal statute or the city ordinance in Fitchburg, and if you are not, I will call $300 even. Can you do that?
I can do that, thank you.
Good luck, sir.
Sophia Martinez?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You have a citation for illegally passing a school bus as reported by the bus driver. For this citation, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No me opongo o no culpable.
No contest?
No contest.
Do you want me to explain to you the differences?
¿Quieres que te explique las diferencias?
Sí.
Necesito hacer palabras. Yes.
Okay.
Bueno.
First, the not guilty, which is the easiest one.
Entonces ya sabes que el culpable
If you believe you are innocent, or you believe that if push comes to shove and your case goes to court,
ya sabes que después digo,
the city cannot prove its case against you,
y si te fueras a un juicio tú sabes
you shouldn't enter a plea of
podría
not guilty.
hacerlo en contra de ti. Esa es la diferencia de culpable.
The second one,
Ahora, la segunda es
if you believe you are guilty,
si crees
you have committed the offense,
que cometiste la ofensa,
you should enter a plea of guilty.
entonces pues, te declaras culpable.
The third alternative
Tercero
is a little bit different,
es un poquito diferente.
which mean though you think you are innocent,
Diciendo, pues sí lo
the evidence against you,
las evidencias en
if
contra de
if
ti,
you go to court, will be overwhelming,
vamos a juicio, pues sí,
and
podría ser
you will be found guilty.
contra mí y lo te encontrarían pues culpable.
But you are not admitting to your guilt.
Pero no estás admitiendo la culpabilidad.
But at the end of the day, you will be found guilty and you pay the
Yo
fine.
digo, como quiera tiene el mismo resultado que encontrarte culpable. Ok.
Which one?
¿A cuál quieres decir entonces?
¿Culpable?
Guilty?
¿Culpable? Sí,
Guilty?
ok.
Yeah?
All right.
No?
Okay. Can you tell me what happened?
Bueno, esto es lo que va a suceder.
You remember what happened?
¿Sí te acuerdas que lo que pasó? Yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
A ver, dime qué pasó.
¿Sí le puedes explicar lo que le dije?
No, necesitas decirlo tú.
El camión estaba parado en medio de la calle
So the bus was in the middle of the street
por largo tiempo.
for a very long time.
Yo no vi ninguna señal que tenía puesta
I didn't see any sign that he had out.
porque siempre está en la esquina parado.
Because
Yo
usually
estoy
he
atrás.
stops like at the corner.
Esta vez estaba en medio de la calle y cuando yo llegué,
And this time he was in the middle of the street, and when I got there,
yo di vuelta a la izquierda y él
I
va.
turned to the right,
Y cuando yo di vuelta, él bajó la palanca que
and when I
trae
turned
enfrente
right, he pulled out his signal,
y me
or the
empezó a
sign,
pitar.
and then he started to honk.
And he's trying to get your attention because there are children in the bus, and children sometimes dart out of the door.
Un camión escolar, ¿verdad?
All right. And you're going to be observant of this from now on, right?
Entonces ya va a ser más precavida, ¿verdad? La próxima vez.
Pues siempre estoy atrás del camión y siempre estoy esperando por esta
Well, I
vez.
always am, you know, when I see the bus, when it's waiting there.
You stop.
Buen trabajo.
All right.
Bueno,
Instead of $250,
bueno, son $250.
you will pay $155.
Vas a pagar 155.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay? Okay, thank you.
Can you pay it tonight or you need time to?
¿Puedes pagarlo esta noche o necesitas tiempo para pagar?
¿Sí me puede dar tiempo?
If you can give me time,
I'll give you 60 days.
bueno, te voy a dar 60 días.
And the officer will tell you to pay it in
Y el oficial te va a
installment.
explicar un poquito más. Pero tienes 2 meses para pagar 155, ¿ok?
Okay. Thank you.
Miguel Montes?
A ver, oh, eso es, ok, yo pensé que era otra cosa. Está bien.
Victor, that's for him.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I forgot to pull that one out. Este es el que se nos
And,
olvidó dar.
and good evening, sir.
Buenas tardes, señor. Buenas tardes. Good evening, sir.
Sir, you have
Señor, tú tienes
the following citation.
las siguientes infracciones.
The first one is operating a motor vehicle
Un vehículo
while under the influence of an intoxicant
intoxicante,
and operating a motor vehicle
vehículo
with prohibited blood alcohol concentration, and allegedly you tested 0.15.
.15.
And before you enter a plea, I would like to explain to you
Déjame decirte esto.
the ramification of entering a plea of guilty.
Consecuencias de entrar una declaración de culpable.
In the state of Wisconsin,
El estado de Wisconsin,
if you get convicted of operating while under the influence,
por manejar en estado de ebriedad,
the first offense is considered to be a civil conviction.
considerado simplemente un delito civil.
Should you get convicted again within the next 10 years,
Entre los próximos 8 años,
that second conviction is considered to be a criminal conviction
en un delito criminal,
requiring mandatory jail time,
donde puede ser cárcel obligatoria,
a longer period of suspension of your driving privilege,
suspensión de
and a higher fine.
y una multa alta.
Thereafter,
Ahora, después de la,
in your lifetime,
en tu vida,
if you commit the same offense
es
again,
la misma ofensa,
it's considered to be a criminal conviction
una convicción criminal,
with a longer sentence
y claro que
and a
el
prison
más
term.
largo y las multas mucho más altas.
For the citation of operating a motor vehicle with a prohibited blood alcohol concentration,
Prohibido.
allegedly tested 0.15,
1.5,
and the citation of operating while under the influence of an intoxicant,
estado de ebriedad.
how do you plead?
¿Cómo te declaras?
No me opongo.
No contest.
At the time the police officer made the stop, were there anybody under the age of 18 in the car?
Menor de 18 años de edad.
No.
No,
Did you cause an accident or ended up in a ditch or hit another vehicle or property?
vehículo.
Un accidente.
¿Cómo?
Un accidente.
Yes, an accident.
An accident. Okay. When you came in court,
Cuando viniste,
they gave you a chart?
se te dio una gráfica aquí, es este. Yes,
Okay. Do can you explain, can you read it for him? He falls in the third category
entonces este cae en la tercera categoría, que son 911,
and with an aggravated
la corte con 8 meses.
circumstances.
Y también tienes que hacer un alcoholímetro instalado en tu vehículo.
Subsequently,
Subsecuentemente,
you have to pay a fine of $974.
$111
Your driving privilege is revoked
de manejar.
for 8 months.
Te van a revocar por 8 meses.
You must complete mandatory assessment
Un asesoramiento de
at Dane County Mental Health Institute,
Instituto del Condado de Dane
and you lose 6 demerit
y
points.
vas a perder 6 puntos en contra de la licencia.
Sir, do you own a car?
¿Tú eres dueño de un carro?
No.
No.
Okay.
Bueno,
Now, every car you drive
carro que tú manejes,
must have an IID device in it,
dársele un alcoholímetro.
okay? And that ID device will test whether you are fit to drive or not.
Le tienes que soplar.
Sir, I want to let you know that if you violate this part of my verdict,
A violar esta parte
you will be in a much bigger problem and trouble than that.
problemas.
You understand, sir?
¿Entendiste?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. So the only issue remaining right now, unless you have other question for me, is whether you can pay your fine tonight or you need time to
Multa
pay.
esta noche o tienes que hacer un plan de pagos.
Un plan de pagos.
Payment plan.
Sure. Are you working now, sir?
Ahorita, señor.
Sí.
Yes.
Are you paid every 2 weeks or every month?
¿Te pagan cada 2 semanas o cada mes?
Cada 2 semanas.
Every 2 weeks.
All right. Sir, how much can you afford
¿Crees que
to pay toward this citation?
para ir liquidando esta multa?
$100 al mes.
$100 a month.
So $50 every 2
Entonces,
weeks?
$50 cada 2 semanas. ¿verdad?
Okay.
Bueno,
If you are not going to pay the fine in full within 60 days,
pagar total dentro de los 60 días.
I want you to get the phone number of this gentleman here
Teléfono de este hombre
and call him
y llamarme
so that you can come back here
otra vez enfrente
and I'll give you another 60
y
days.
te doy otros 60 días.
Because the maximum amount of time I can give you at any given moment is only 60
Porque lo
days.
más tiempo que te puedo dar a la vez serían nomás 60 días.
But if you are showing diligence in payment,
Haciendo los pagos,
I will always give you that
siempre te
extension.
puedo dar esos 60 días.
Okay?
¿Está bien?
Are you comfortable with $50 or you want me to do less than that?
$50 o quieres menos?
No, está bien así.
No, it's fine.
I wish you good luck, sir.
Le deseo buena
Okay?
suerte.
Thank you.
You bet.
Y agarra el papel que te va a dar.
And that concludes our adult session, and we have children, right?